You subscribe to Pando? That's so hot. That's so hot. That's so hot. You subscribe to Pando? That's so hot. That's so hot. That's so hot.
Alright. Everything seems to be working. Sorry. Shouldn't watch my own stream. Alright. Thanks everyone for watching. Welcome to this probably shorter episode of FC Chat. I think today's guests have all been on here before, so I'm not gonna give like super long introductions, but basically we were supposed to have the former King of Lowsec on, but he's missing in action. That's high. But at least 2 out of the 3 guests are here on time. And
so hot.
Shines is my good buddy in INIT, FCing mostly. I mean, you prefer the cap stuff. He's FCing subs too, obviously. So that's Shines. And then Kendarr, he's actually the FC and leader of probably the biggest growing or the fastest growing alliance outside any block right now. Would you say so? I think so, right?
Yeah, I think we're just flavour of the month, though, to be fair. But yeah, I think we definitely are rapidly growing, that's for
Oh, the Kendarr humbleness. Oh, well, you are not. I mean, you might be flavor of the month.
You subscribe to Panda?
That doesn't mean you're not flavor of the next month too.
So hot.
So, and guys, also Crackhead, thanks for a resub for 3 months. Zahnweg 5, same for Vea 5. Awesome, and thanks for the support, guys. And Poison Fury, I'm not sure if that was today, but thanks anyway. So we've been FCing together and like coding and all that shit for like, I don't even know how long, a couple years now. And actually not yesterday, last weekend, we actually met up for the first time ever. I know I've not met any of you guys before. Have any of you guys met up before? Like, did anyone here met Hi or so?
You
or
subscribe to Panda?
You guys each other?
That's so hot.
Nope. No, this is the first time I've met anybody.
So was the first time for all of us?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And the disappointment was real, right? No, I think all of us had a good time there, right?
What happens in London stays in London.
Yeah, I guess.
Kind of like all social events, it was just over far too fast. I mean, you spend years playing this game together, then you finally get to meet each other, and it's like one day, and then it's...
Yeah, I should have actually checked the volume here. I'm not sure. I'll do that during and adjust it if needed. I think, you know, when it comes to events like that, some people do it for the trip, you know, going to whatever place it is, be it Iceland, for example. You know, that's probably why they still get good numbers. It's you know, it's a good trip. Iceland is a unique destination. Some people might do it like for the event of like CCP doing stuff and announcing shit. And then I think most people, though, I know that's sure for me, they do it for the meetup, meeting like the other guys and stuff like this. And I know some people were actually disappointed by London. By you know, even though they never announced this to be like the biggest thing. I mean, it was kind of, well, they said it's the finale, but I kind of knew, like we all knew there's not gonna be like comparable to Eve Vegas, which is a multi-day kind of thing and like an old fan fest or whatever, right? So I didn't expect them to like break big news or stuff like this. And I'm not sure why people had so big expectations there, but yeah. You guys probably also just, you know, mostly showed up for the meetup, correct?
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to the Eve. I was kind of looking forward to the Eve stuff as well, though, because it was the last in the tour, so I was expecting kind of a lot of hype around it. You know, go out with the big bang.
Hello.
Yeah, that's true. Yo, and there he is, the former King of Lowsec. Boom, you get renamed. Your name is way too long. Otherwise. Hi, we just said, like, we have never met, any of us, but it was the first time. And then most people probably did it for the meetup. So none of us went in with, like, massive expectations to CCP. Besides, maybe because it was the finale, like Shines just said. But, yeah. Or were you, like, super disappointed by CCP or something?
Nah, like I didn't listen to anything they said. I was just like, I didn't even talk with Kendarr, and like we like tuned in to like hear what people were asking CCP, and it was about like level 4 missions and like rock mining or like.
I thought at least 2 of the questions were on point though. I forgot what it was, but 2 of them, like I liked the questions.
You're right.
The
There was one.
conflict.
There was one that was really good, and it came from the Snuffbox Discord actually, and it was, I can't remember the guy's name. Phantomite. It was Phantomite, and he was asking cap questions that somebody had typed up in the Snuff Discord. So
You know, and then like CCP Homer basically just replied, we'll see. Yeah, that's on our chance, his generic reply.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They start a Q&A. That's maybe in the category of disappointment. They start a Q&A, but I've never seen them actually answer any of the questions. Right.
But did you see how on that one question about conflict drivers, the guy pushes Hilmar? Hilmar turns around and says, "You know what? Fuck it. Before Christmas."
Oh yeah, that was
And
actually
the rest
good.
of the devs just look at him like, "What?"
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
there will be something, I bet, but it'll be something really small, like really a really small change, like all the changes they're making at the minute. It'll be really small and like, but it'll help towards conflict.
Hopefully.
I mean, yeah, so we could just jump right in and talk about the changes they announced. I thought maybe talk about the like the meeting people kind of things first, but
Yeah, we can. I mean, it was great to meet you guys. I don't know if you enjoyed meeting me. I was pretty drunk.
I hated it, but right, I got through it.
You just kept telling me to stop blubbing you.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I think everyone had a good time, right?
It was
it
good.
was.
It was nice to
You
meet everyone as
subscribe
well.
to Pando?
Exactly, and that's what it's about. That's what Eve
hot.
meets are about, right? It's not about what CCP we're putting on. The reason we play this game is because it's got the best community, like of any MMO that I've ever played. It is the community is hands down like better than anything else, and that's what you go for. You go to like finally meet the people that you've spent years playing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant earlier, right? There's a difference between like the trip, the event, and the meetup. You know, I think for me it's like 90% the meetup, maybe 1% the trip. I mean, especially in this case, I could tell you guys about my fucking trip back. I'm gonna spare you though.
Have you guys been to a Eve meet before?
No,
We went to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, here you go.
No.
You
Host
in
first.
Milan, actually. Shine's in Milan. It's Shine's girlfriend. You actually met the first time at
Yeah,
FanFest.
2014
So-
FanFest. Nice.
So I think that's probably why you have now an easier time to convince her to go to an Eve meet, right? There's a little bit
Yeah.
of a connection right there. So yeah.
I
And
should
no,
try
I've
that
not.
on my wife. Then I'll bring her to the next one and introduce you guys and see if she wants to come again.
Well, I think you have actually missed the moment, right? So you already know her. You're already married. There's probably kids on the way, are there? Wait. Not yet, huh?
This is very
Oh, yeah.
personal. Get out.
Wow.
What?
Straight in there with the personal questions, Panda.
Come on. It's not-
What I was saying to Hi actually about I think it was Hi. There was alcohol involved. If I got that wrong, apologies. But I didn't realize how long we've actually been working together on and
Yeah,
off
it's been-
Discords. Like when you actually sit down and think about it, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it's been a good few years.
Yeah,
It went a
it's
lot
been
quicker
ages.
than I thought.
Yeah. What was the first time? Like, I remember, I think that we had one good bonding experience. And it
F7C was probably the first
F7C.
big one.
Exactly. I felt like that fight kind of made it. So we were like a solid team from then on. Before that, it was like some people playing together, working together.
What was F7C again? Just remind everyone, because I'm not sure.
So it was about an R64 in Cloud Ring, and at the time, NC was staged. I think Tribute. Yeah, I think Tribute. And like everyone was forming super big, and we were just trying to, take the fight. But it didn't look like we could take the fight. And then we decided, okay, let's at least make all those NC subcaps travel all the way down. And while we did that, we actually killed a lot of stuff. And there was that one bomber wing from, I forgot who it was, and they actually did quite good work on the Horde fleet. out of, yeah, exactly. So they kind of opened it for us, and we said like, maybe we can actually do something or a little bit more. And then there was this thing that we set up. Bosons were pretty new in the game at the time, and we always wanted to use them in combination to like wipe out an entire dread bomb, which is kind of a ballsy move. And finding those 4 titans spontaneously to just, jump in and, try to boson them for 4 sides might not always be easy, but in this case, we had no trouble finding him, so we gave it a shot. And this fight developed into this, capitals on grid warping around and all that stuff. And then there was another dread bomb coming in, and we said like, fuck it, let's do it. And then Bliss called it the blunderbuss, and we jumped in 4 titans to try to wipe out that dread bomb. And 3 titans got out, so that's an up success, I would say. But yeah, Shines actually got tackled in his time. We couldn't get him free, and Tyler was so heavy at the time that
it was actually bad piloting. Okay.
Yeah, it was probably a combination, I would say. Yeah.
Bad piloting by the Snuff FC, who didn't kill Dictors quick enough.
Yeah, nightmares and 10% died. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but basically, that gave NC time to move all the fucking Supers and Titans down there, and then kill that 1 Titan. But I think at the end, it was like a 50-50 battle report anyway. Even though we lost the Titan up, I think we lost it by a couple bit, But we were quite happy with it anyway, because that fight, we shouldn't have taken it in the first place. And then we kind of made it happen, so it was great.
The forging of the Rakapas cartel, eh?
Exactly. Well,
Let me tell you the first time I met Hi. I was traveling past Rakapas with about 120 slip, and he was like, yo, can you come and sit on this wormhole, please? I think we're about to bait somebody into a fight, and then I want you to come through and kill a load of dudes. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? That was basically it. The fight didn't happen, but that was basically it.
Wow.
Well,
Sleipner's through wormhole.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
Those were the times, huh? I think like back in the day that you had way more 0-0 connections. It was just way better. But hey. Oh yeah, I just read that Lilith. One of the reasons why you probably have missed me is I couldn't answer anyone sending me messages on Discord and stuff. My phone literally broke the night into the first fucking day. I was completely like, my mobile was gone, So I was relying on Shines and the other guys to, get me places and all that stuff. So I couldn't figure anything out. Yeah, it was kind of a bad start. Maybe. No. I think like a lot of people actually found me anyway. Maybe you weren't determined enough. That must have been it. But yeah, it was quite. I mean, it's kind of weird though. Some people approached me saying, "Hey, like I've seen your fleets or like FC chats or like streams and stuff like this," and you guys were right next to me. But you guys were kind of undercover because nobody knows what a Kendarr or a HyWanto looks like, right? I remember we were sitting next to some legacy renters. I forgot what the alliance name is.
Evictus.
Oh yeah, some Evictus guys. We were sitting down with them, and then they were telling us about their alliance and shit. And I was like, they're like legacy renters, and like Hi was sitting next to them, right? It's like arch enemy of Willy. And they had no idea, and they were just, telling stories. It was kind of funny.
They just told me to get a haircut. That was all that was said.
They told you what?
A haircut. That's all they said.
I still didn't get it. What did he say?
To get a haircut.
To get a haircut?
That's what the guy said.
Oh, you look gorgeous.
Thanks, Bando. So do you.
Oh, thanks.
Even at 16, when you were a rebel and a hooligan.
Wait, I told you that story?
Yeah.
You said a lot of things, man.
I know. And you like to repeat a lot of those things out of context.
It's so good, but I'm not going to do it here because it's your show.
Yeah, you're going to do it in every fleet going on.
You also learned that Darkshines wears the pants in INIT but he does not wear the pants for whipped.
Listen, man.
We also learned that Pando, right, guys, Pando has got the moves. When we got on the dance floor that night, Pando has got the moves. So next time, instead of having like a fight with him, I'm going to challenge him to a dance off, and we're going to get on webcam and have a little dance off. Well, Pando's got the move.
Yeah, I mean,
I wanted him to stream Eve London, but he.
my moves was so on point. Like I don't think I can follow up on it. So I'm just gonna, from now on, I'm not gonna dance anymore. Because how am I gonna top that? That performance was just on point, I thought. So it was my masterpiece. No, I'm done. I'm gonna retire from dancing. I didn't see High on the dance floor though. I didn't see. Oh, wait.
I left.
I didn't see any of you guys. Before you guys are talking shit here, I didn't see any of you guys do any better.
About. I was strutting my
Actually,
stuff.
that's true. I actually saw the TRIGG IP flag, which I actually got right behind me.
I was about to say, where is he, man?
Yeah, I have to put it up on the wall, but like I didn't have
you.
time for that. Oh, that's the INIT flag, by the way. So I got both. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna take then obviously a couple bit per stream. I mean that's free what is it called, advertisement then, right? I think that's just fair.
Wait, what? I've got to pay you.
Huh?
I'm poor, dude.
What? You're a CEO of a big alliance.
I thought you
Surely
just
you're
signed a
making
big
good money.
Kendarr, I thought you just signed a lucrative contract with a big
Yeah,
alliance.
Kendarr.
I mean, we got the Komodo BPC recently, right? So that kind of helps a little bit, but
Oh,
no,
really?
we're not rich.
Who did you steal that from?
Well, it just dropped, just magically appeared in the
Oh,
system
right.
and dropped.
So
You
you
know how
actually did the
CCP
thing
was
and
saying
nobody
that they're going to
came.
be in alliance. They joined Kendar's alliance. All of CCP is in Kendar's alliance. They just spawned in.
Oh,
Nobody-
don't start that shit,
You
Hi.
subscribe to Wanto? That's so hot.
Hey, thanks for the sub, RJ, Blackbirds, and Ashen. Like, thanks a lot, dudes. But you guys actually made the thing, like you did it, and nobody stole it?
Yes, because of
Oh.
the change the CSM had happened, no one could get a freighter into system to steal it. They stole the officer mods, but I was honest with you. I was saying at the start when we were killing it, I was like, "This is going to drop the." I just had it like I had the feeling it would, and it did.
And what do you mean this the changes? You mean it was in a soft space and then it's sino jammed, so you can't even sino it?
Yeah. So somebody did try. I believe Wang's tried to sino a freighter in, jumped into system, realized that the system was sino jammed, realized that every gate was heavily camped with subcaps, and then was just like, "Yeah, okay, we can't do it." But DSTs and like a few cloaky haulers and scepters and stuff managed to warp in and steal the officer loot. But no, we got the
Was
we
it
got
a
the
lot though?
BPC and got it out. No, not really. Not
Yeah.
compared to the Komodo.
I remember we did one up in, where was it? Great Whitelands, I believe. One of the first ones ever. And we did it in Ravens. Like, literally. It's so much work, dude. And then don't even get me started on bush chains, okay? I'm just saying, it was so fucking hard to do in Ravens. And then only one officer invuln dropped. And that one got stolen by like some random scepter. It was just the worst. It was just the worst. I think that was the last one I ever tried. I was like, oh, fuck this.
They kind of are a bit iffy to run, I think.
We
Yeah.
done one a few weeks ago, Panda.
Yeah, I know we did one. And then guess what? It got stolen. Like, even with the freighter changes, if they're smart and they're quick and, and you don't expect it just that way, like, they can still do something about it. But yeah, that one was easy. I mean, it's designed to be done by a couple of titans. That's what it is. And so a couple of titans can easily do it. There was actually, I think, a stream earlier.
What happened yesterday?
Was it yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Fraternity, a couple of fraternity guys were trying to run it, and what Volta did was they kept the titans bubbled, and they just died to the rats, 2 of them.
Yeah, you can do that. I thought the same, like when I saw the stream, I thought like would be quite nice. Just check how low are they going, and then you just bubble, or you also bubble their warp out. Usually it's like if if you're lucky, there's a keep star in the system, but there's not always a keep star of what is there. You might just bubble it in time. You see
You
where they whoop
subscribe
to,
Pando?
and then if the
That's
timing is
so
bad,
hot.
they can't really whoop out, because otherwise they're gonna land in your bubble, and then what? Anything could be happening. So yeah, fucking with that stuff, you know, can be quite funny, I think.
Just to put out there as well that the Komodo BPC is still for sale. It's currently sat at 361 billion. So if anyone wants it, please do contact me.
There you go. I see Jita Market here. Who needs Jita Market if you can just come on here and sell your stuff?
Pando did tell you about the 10% advertising commission, Kendarr, right?
What?
Oh,
I do. I always
right.
tell all the guests. Well, I have to live off something, you know? Because Shines doesn't give me free ships anymore. I don't know.
It's because you're richer than I am.
Well, not in assets. I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, what was the best part about the whole event? Like, besides like meeting and stuff like this. Right. Did they have some
Chicken
announcements?
curry.
The chicken curry?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You know what? The last
Curry.
place we were at, the food was really good. I liked it, and it wasn't too expensive for London prices. So I wish we would have arrived there earlier.
Oh, Weatherby's.
Yeah, it was a good place.
Yeah.
Chill location, stuff. Yeah, but was there like any announcements you thought like, fuck yeah?
Yes.
Finally? What was it, Kendarr?
It was the Killing Your Castles announcement that they will take away the ability to set a defensive day. So the attacker will now decide what day the structure will exit on its, basically the attacker will decide what day the structure's hold timer will exit on, rather than the defense.
So for those people, like maybe like not everyone has so much to do with like timers, creating timers, following up on timers, and thinking about when the final timer is going to come out and all that stuff. So let me explain. Before this change, you would ref something at like, let's just say at 1800, and then if it's timed for a EU time zone, it might come out 24 hours later. So let's say it's coming out the next day, 1800. But then if you ref it again, it's always going to come out at the exact day and time the defender chose, which is always their time zone, but in the middle of the week. So if it's now not 1800 for your Euro time zone group, but you're hitting a Russian time zone group that says, all right, we kind of like 1400, in the middle of the week you can't really follow up on your ref anyway. So the final time is going to be always a super shit timer in the middle of the week, out of your time zone, which is like a struggle for anyone. But now that you cannot choose the day as a defender, the attacker can actually calculate when to start reffing to then get a weekend timer, which is a big difference, obviously, because at a weekend at Russian time zone, even Euro time zone alliances, or I would even argue probably US time zone alliances, can form, at least to a certain degree. And that's going to be a game changer for sure. People have been asking for that for ages. I've been asking for that for ages, actually.
Yeah, and I think like you're entirely right. Like the big thing about it is FCs can form, and if you're a cross time zone alliance, if you have multiple TZs, those people will be showing up to your fleet as well as the hostiles fleet. So it's gonna basically, it should be more content basically.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that like I think we've had some timers recently where you do the first timer and then it's 2 days, and then you do the final timer and suddenly boom, a 9-day timer.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's going to be down to what, max 4, maybe 5 days now, is an improvement.
What's the minimum? Is it still like 24 hours or what is it?
It's still 24 hours, I believe. Yeah.
You know, that always struck me as weird, because let's say
I know it bugs you. Yeah, I know it bugs.
yeah, but like let me explain. Like, so we're fighting each other. We're both the same time zone. So I hit you on day 1, and timers can come out differently by like ±2, or is it ±4? think it's ±2, right? So you set it to
Yeah,
1800.
+2, yeah.
Yeah, so you set it to 1800. I hit you at 1800, but the timer goes 2 hours back, which then means it would come out at 1600. But that's less than 24 hours, so it would come out a day and 22 hours later, which is weird to me. Why wouldn't it just be 20 hours minimum, and then it's in the same time zone still?
Yeah,
But,
agreed.
you know, it's just those little things, but, you know, it's, I mean, there's worse stuff.
They didn't announce like the details around it either, so we don't know yet how long the duration will be between the armor timer and the hull timer. You know what I mean? Like it could be 7 days, it could be 2 days, 3 days. And they also didn't mention what solution they've got for low power citadels. So they said that they have nearly got something for that. Oh, and finally, the ADM4 change as well. If you remember, Panda was like a semi-good. We might want to discuss.
The ADM4 changes. Yeah, so I think a lot of people confuse that. So what they said is, if the system has ADM4, you cannot anchor medium structures in that hostile space. A lot of people confuse that medium as like a fortizar, because they think Astra House is small, fortizar is medium, and keepsters as large. But it's actually, fortizars are large, keepsters are extra large. So you can't anchor like Astros, Red Haru, or Athanor's in hostile space. You know, so you can't spam it, which was one of the approaches we actually had in the last bigger war. You could just, you know, put one Red Haru in every hostile system. Like, how many of them, if you do it at the same time, how many of them can they actually kill at the same time, even if they outnumber you and, you know, form and all that stuff. And then you would have like a citadel in every hostile system in a region. It's not that expensive. It might be worth it for like a serious war. It's definitely worth it.
I am worried that it does limit kind of content timers a little bit. So obviously, probably where everyone lives, they all have weak spots in the sort of where people could anchor structures even after the change. But like, you can't, for example, anymore, or you probably can't anymore, go and anchor a citadel off of somebody's fortizar to, you know, really frustrate them and get a fight out of them, which commonly works.
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
I think it means though that all you have to do is like, so I mean, with if somebody's not doing anything in a system and they still have strategic level 5, the ADM is only 2, right? So people actually have to be doing, like, I think you have, was it 0.6 per level or something of each one? So you have to keep a reasonable level of activity to keep ADM 4, like a small amount, but still a reasonable amount. So if you're an attacking force, you just need to shut that down basically. And
yeah, which is kind of a valid way. If you want to like full on hurt somebody and a victim, that's what you do, isn't it? You go in and shut down their ability to make money and so on, because it's such a big thing in Eve now, isn't it? Like alliances have to be able to make money basically for members doing activities in space.
yeah.
Which is one of the reasons low-sec alliances struggle a little bit, I would argue. I mean, Hi, you might have like a take on that. Is Hi AFK? No.
Struggle in what way?
Low-sec alliances might be struggling with like, so maintaining. So basically now, null-sec alliances have to get their alliance income out of player activity. If you see it like that. So is it mining, is it redding? Like, that's where we get our money. In low sec that has never been that possible. You know, you can't tax mission running really. It's not, you know, so.
Like we adapted to mining moons, like all the alliances did. Siege Green do it like massively. They'll use like 10 Vorkals at a time, but they're very skittish with it. And Genesis shoot first, and the other guys used to make bank doing LSH Rock mines. I think most of the bigger low-sec alliances have a well-established way of rock mining for SRP. That's basically what everyone does.
Well, LSH doesn't anymore. So,
they used to.
Yeah.
When you were doing the stuff with Snuff, high? Was that like 100% of it goes to Alliance, or was it?
No. We first did 25, so people would basically rent the moon, and it would be 25% of the R64 value, and then we changed it to like all the moons come out at like different times, right? So there'll be like one for EU, one for US, one for AU, and we had enough moons, so basically just cycle it through the month, and anyone could mine any of it, and they could 50% of the ore, but they'd end up making the same or more money because they'd be able to mine whenever they wanted instead of just having one set moon for themselves.
Cool, makes sense.
Yeah, I always prefer the easier solutions when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think we are always doing a little bit more complicated, but then, you know, what do I know about mining? I've never mined in my life, so yeah. I mean,
You have to lead by example, Panda. I expect to see you.
and then rocker mine. No, I think we've got plenty. I mean, Shines is gonna shine as an example there, so.
Okay, I guess we could break into a little discussion of, why do people need to local mine? Why do alliances need to local mine? Because I've been thinking about this a little bit lately.
Well, it's the big passive moon thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
That was the biggest income for medium size, and I mean, some large scale alliances as well was passive moon mining, and they got rid of it, and we were like, well, what do we do for SRP? Because when it happened, and I was obviously a very big person, like saying this is not going to work and it's going to suck, and now people are starting to agree with me, which I thought FanFest as well, but like not FanFest, Eve London, but when you take it away, like people were basically saying, all the money goes to the alliance, blah, 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 it's bad. We should have active moons so people can individually profit. But once you take it away, then the alliances don't have SRP and to fund their infrastructure they need to run the alliance, right? So you kind of have to replace it. That's why.
Okay,
Yeah.
so question then to sort of Panda and Shines about around this. Do you guys feel that people have to rock mine for income? Or do you feel, I mean, it's kind of tied to the two, but do you feel you need people to rock mine so you can build a...
You broke up at the end, Kendarr. Sorry.
Build a what?
Oh, sorry. So you can build a super fleet. So do you think, you have people rock mining for ISK, or do you have people rock mining so the alliance can benefit and grow a super fleet?
I guess we've built a super fleet recently, so I mean, I guess it depends on the alliance. For us, it wouldn't really have mattered how people made the risk as long as they made the risk, because we had 1DQ. We still have 1DQ. So with the amount of ore that's on the 1DQ market, it's easy to build super cheap supers and titans.
Okay.
But,
The only
I
reason
mean,
kind of like asking is because a lot of people think rogues are key to building like a strong alliance and a strong empire and stuff like that, and a super fleet. But then like, what do a lot of alliances use their supers for, or super fleet for? To save rogues? They don't kind of use them offensively, or sometimes they do.
Well,
And sometimes they don't. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we see a lot of for the. It seems more people just want to rock mine to build a super fleet, not to actually rock mine to build a super fleet to then go and have like a super.
I mean, super fleets don't get built in a short amount of time, and like this is the one thing that I keep saying anytime anyone asks me, is that you've all the older alliances who went through this period of stability. So NC Dot, PL, what was her name, Raiden, White Noise, all those guys, they went through a period of time where they didn't have any serious aggression towards their structures or their solve. And they had their R64s, and they also had drone lands, which at the time dropped the drone minerals, which you could reprocess into minerals. And at the time, there weren't any Rorquals. So it was the best way to get minerals. And all these groups spent years building their super fleets. And then you've got the likes of well, Goons is kind of a bad example because they already had their super fleet to an extent. But take INIT, for example, when we moved, we didn't have a huge amount of supers and titans, but then Delve got stabilized, we took Fountain and Quirius, and since then our super numbers have grown quite considerably. But it's not something that happens overnight. It takes a long period of time, and a lot of these things have only happened when the Rourke changes came in. But this is kind of our period of stability, if that makes sense, where we didn't have that before. So I mean, a lot of groups will use their supers to protect their oracles to produce more supers to try and catch up to the likes of NC and PL. So
So-
it's kind of a little bit of a
Perspective is
tilted
good.
argument, I think.
Yeah,
But,
it's
I
good.
mean-
Perspective is good though. Like how you see it, I think is really good.
It's not a real discussion at this point that, like, in a 1v1, like in a straight up war, it's the time numbers. So, and that's where this all is coming from. It's all about those Titan numbers. Even super numbers, obviously, if you have a shit ton of supers, that's a good thing too. But, like, it's Titans, 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 and that's where this originates from. You want to be able to beat anyone
You subscribe
in a
to
straight up war.
Hando? That's so
And
hot.
also, thanks for the subs, guys. Grace, Mark, and up to no good. Thanks a lot, dudes. Much appreciated. But yeah, that's not a discussion, is it? That it's all about the Titans. I mean, at this point,
I think in major fights it's down to Titans. There's a lot of situations you can't bring Titans in, like if you're over an iHub. But I mean, iHubs don't really make or break alliances or where they decide to live. It's what kills your home, and your home is usually a keep star or a fortress star. And for that, the best thing to both defend and kill is Titans. And then when you've got Titans, you need more Titans to fight their Titans.
Or
yeah.
if you don't have a
Yeah.
keep star.
And Titans obviously also
I'm
defend the
joking. I'm
Rockets.
joking. I'm joking. Yeah, I'm joking.
If you don't
know
have a
what you mean.
Keepster, then, I mean, you're also good having more Titans. You guys don't have a Keepster?
No, I don't want one either, to be honest.
You know what? So when Keepsters were first introduced, everyone was saying like, "Oh yeah, super numbers and Titan numbers are gonna go through the roof whenever you ping now." The first thing, my reaction was like, "I don't think so," because a lot of
Who
people.
thought that?
Well, everyone who said like now you can have like no, your Titan is way more functional because a lot of people.
But
a
it's
lot-
not.
Well, so the argument is that, I mean, and that's a legit argument, that now you can dock your Titan and then do something else with it if you don't need the Titan. Which also turned out to be a problem though, because a lot of people,
Exactly.
when you would ping for Supers and Titans, would then say, ah, well, my Titan is actually not here. So they can't
Yeah.
log them in a moment's notice like they used to, when everyone had to stay in their Titans 24/7.
Prime
So,
example
yeah.
of
That's why
that.
we kept them.
Prime example was pre-Citadel patch. I was in Goon Swarm, and we had a rule that you weren't allowed like a Nyx, or you weren't allowed a super carrier, sorry, or an Erebus, a super carrier or a Titan sitter. Your super character had to be in the Titan, ready to go at a moment's.
That changed now, yeah.
Yeah. But obviously now people dock up, go and do whatever, and you ping for, if you're ever pinging for these things, obviously then people have to turn around and go back. So
People would always ask in Snuff, like, when are we gonna get keeps done? Like, me and Tao were so against it. We like never. I like thought about it for a bit, but then Tao was like, no. We never
Yeah,
did
you-
it just because it's really stupid.
how drop
You're
one
the
so high? What was the story
few-
around that?
I was just like at the start, he was just like, I really can't remember why he wanted it. I think it was more
Tao
to
wanted
stop
it.
the keeps that.
Well, you're one of the very few people who, like, said no to Keepstars, even though you guys could have afforded it. Pretty sure.
People had them. They were willing to drop them for the alliance.
Actually, yeah, we had that too, like renters and all kinds of people. They're like, oh yeah, I want to place a Keepstar. Like, what? Why? They just want to place Keepstars because it's awesome. Like, they don't even need much of a reason. Yeah. I mean, so talking about Keepstars, what do you think about like having like a limit of Keepstars per like region or constellation or something like this? That would make sense. Like, why didn't they put a limit onto them anyway?
Why didn't they put a limit on all the citadels?
Yeah, like I don't.
Spam is ridiculous.
Would that give us more reason to fight over them, do you think, in
Yes,
an
because
area?
if you had to centralize all your assets, for example, if you could only have like one, staging keepstar, one staging fortress, and all your stuff is in there, and you didn't have anything else with that kind of everything, all your assets would be in there then, right? You can't just like, put another one down one system away and have everything there, right? It also makes grinding much less boring because you don't have to grind 80,000 citadels.
Yeah. I mean, I did. So I did make a post a while back on Reddit, like my wish list for the Chaos era and stuff like this. I had a list like of limitations I would love to see them put on Citadels, but I never put it in there because I thought that's so controversial, it's gonna derail the entire thread. And it was based on like type, so there's like combat citadels, Astros, Fortizar, and Keepsar, and then there's like industry stuff, obviously, like refineries and what's the other named? I don't know, the other industry citadel, right? So there's like lines of citadels, so you should limit them per system by type, is what I think. You don't need 2 combat citadels in one system, literally. So it should be limited. And then per region it should be also limited, like per type basically. So you can't have more than, I don't know, I would say 1 or 2 keepsters per region, which should be enough. You don't need a keepster on every region gate. So you know, you have that one spot, and the umbrella can't be like everywhere and all that stuff. But yeah, I left it out. Maybe I'm gonna make a bigger post about it at some point. And I wonder, maybe I'm gonna ask you guys first for feedback. But yeah, I'm happy though they did announce some changes to Citadels, which we were already talking about earlier. So at least, even though I don't think it goes far enough, at least they're admitting they're looking at it, right? So they know Citadels have to be looked at, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to remember and know, like CCP are saying they're going to make a change, and then they're going to, alliterate on that change if they need to, within the following two. And I think that's like a really positive thing to do. Now all CCP need to do is keep that up, and I'm sure there's a lot of pressure, like internally, to do those sort of level of releases. But yeah, I think that it's a great start. I know they said at the meet, they said that they don't know if after into the new year they're going to keep up the 2-week release cycle, or possibly make it longer, or maybe even shorter. They said, but because I can imagine internally on a development team, it's a lot of pressure to get things done. I mean, even if they're just small little changes, right? They've got to have a lot of discussion over them and so on, and try and envision, how it changes whatever they're changing in the long run.
What do you
I know change.
What do you think about CCP Rise taking up the helm of the change?
I like Rice. I mean, he did do the boost changes, so he lost some points there, but I like him. I think he's the best
me and
Kendarr
talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
When at Evelyn?
Yeah, I like Rise too. Yeah, I like Rise too. I think that if anyone's going to be able to fix, the game as such, he's going to be the best guy to it. He seems the most confident.
Yeah, so when Vegas was on and the keynote was on, and he came on stage, like me and my guys in my alliance were watching it together in comms, and like I said to them, I said, "Come on and Rise, save this game. You're the only one that I believe can." And I know that's not fair on like all the work that other guys put in, because I know there's a great, like, I really appreciate all the work CCP put into the game across the board to make the team, to make the game like as good as it is. And as much as I love it, but at the same time, I'm like, Rise is the man. Come on.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? People go into the CCP hate train too quickly, especially on certain platforms like Reddit, because it gives you like some upvotes or whatever. But in general, like CCP, they have a very much of an interest of making the game good, and they're very much trying. Lately, it's disappointing, and I'm not gonna pretend like that I was happy about like most of the changes. I think there was a lot of shit in there too. But yeah, maybe if Rise gets a little bit more power, we can see it go in the right direction. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, I think he's been given like, right, do your changes, go.
Yeah, it feels like it. I don't know. I haven't talked about it to him or anyone, but that's what it feels like for sure. Yeah, I think he has his own team now. Right, Team Talos, that's his team, and then depends on how much power he gets with that team. but we'll see. They have been hinting stuff. That's actually perfect. So they have been hinting stuff at Vegas, which actually Falz, one of our like background working people, made me aware of. So Rise had the presentation at Vegas, and he announced the boost changes and then the Min Martin stuff, which means autocannons in this case. So those so first he did boost changes, that's done. Yeah. Then Min Martin stuff was hinted, and that's done now. Obviously the autocannon changes and stuff like this, that's what they were talking about. And then maybe some minor ship changes like the Typhoon Fleet, or what was it? There was another Min Martin ship, I think. They got a little bit of a better bonus. But yeah. So basically, those two are done. And then, actually, are you guys watching the stream? Like muted or something? Because I'm gonna show some screens on thingy because I prepped it quickly.
Yep.
So then they hinted next pictures. So I'm gonna just put them on here. So the next hint was this one. And so, I mean, it's a wormhole with a fanny. So, what do you guys think does that mean?
They're coming out with a new line of fanny pack.
Oh, does it mean a capital supporting wormhole? Maybe. Like I know
I think I
wormholes
know
kind
what
of do
it
at
is.
the minute, but go on then.
Shines, you want to take a guess?
I think that whoever was in the presentation really enjoys Thanatos's.
So, I mean, for me, it's pretty clear because it's a carrier on a wormhole. It has to do with the rolling technique. Not techniques. What's it called? Mechanics. So my guess is there's gonna be something coming with like rolling mechanics. I could be wrong, obviously.
I feel like it would more be what Kendarr said, because a lot of people have been crying on Reddit about like having capital wormholes and shit like that. But I mean, it would make sense to in the age where there's so many supers and titans, you'd want it to be a bit more dangerous, I guess. But then big wormholes like that, I don't know. Like you might be right as well.
Yeah, I mean, I hope. I don't know what I should hope for here, to be honest. I'm not too much of a wormholer to now pretend to like have it all figured out and what's best for wormhole space, to be quite honest.
Do you think
whenever it comes to wormholes, I rely on other people.
So sorry, do you think they're nerfing the do you think they're nerfing the carrier rolling, or?
Yeah, well, it's strong. It certainly is strong. So, and we know Helmer talked about like it's weird that you can roll it like that, and they were surprised when Ixuki, the wormhole CSM, basically like explained to them how this works and that it's very safe to carry in wormhole space, and they were surprised. Like for us, we are not wormholers, but we knew, like everyone knew who was playing actively. And
it's also used for PvP though, right? You roll into like enemy stagings, and also then you roll like for good nullsec places.
yeah, exactly. So there's there's bad things about it, but there's also obviously that's what spawns content too. So maybe you should only be able to roll it to a certain degree.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it if they just. I do feel like the changes they do these days are more PvE oriented and safety net oriented. So I wouldn't like if they keep like, making the game a bit more safe for the nullsec crabs. I mean, wormhole crabs are way too safe as well. I agree.
Well, that's kind of the Sino changes was a big defensive sort of move, wasn't it, for the umbrellas and stuff? So they are slowly trying to balance it out.
Yeah, that was a good change. I hope they stick with it like they did with Blackout. I want them to like acknowledge that they do need to balance it out and kind of make the ISK faucet bigger than the ISK sink bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've put on the next one. So the next thing they hinted towards was this. It's an Athanor with raw cuts on it. It's a Goon Athanor, I have to point out, actually.
I think I know exactly what this is.
Alright. Tell me, like, because I'm
Right.
not sure.
So let me just remind you that I was correct about them removing the final day. All right. So I'm beating my chest over this here.
Wait. When did you say that?
On I came on one of your FC chats and I spoke about they're probably going to make it so you can set the final day on attack, right?
All right.
Because that made sense to me. It was the only
Yeah, I
change
was.
they could make. There's a small change that would result in like resolving or slightly resolving the cross time zone stuff. This, I believe, is going to be that Athanors will be a 24-hour timer, not a 3 timers when full power or 2 timers when low power. It's just going to be straight up 24 hours.
Back to
I hope you're
the
right.
soft tower style.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be with this.
You know
Like,
what?
I think the Rorks on it are just misleading. I don't think it's going to be like Rorks can't tether on an Athanor, because what type of change is that for the game? It's not a good change, is it? It's not really going to help.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I think the focus of this picture is definitely the Athanor, not the rockets on it, or the alliance that's owning it.
I mean, I tell you what, I wish it would be passive moon mining. That's what I wish it would be. Some sort of passive moon mining with these type of structures.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, there was problems. Like, let's not forget, there was problems with the passive moon mining thing too. Like, especially for smaller groups, even smaller than your group, Kendarr. You had the problem that the big guys can easily take over all the stuff and don't have to worry to be exposed like 3 regions away from their home system. You know, so it wasn't all great about the passive.
Wow,
I get the content creation part. You know, I get that there's more incentive to ref it for an alliance level kind of thing. But at the same time,
Let me expand on it then. Sorry to cut you off
right.
there. Let me just expand on it and say I would love passive moon mining, but I don't want to see it really back in nullsec. I want to see it back in lowsec. I want to
I
see
agree.
passive moon mining in lowsec.
I agree 100%. I think.
Or maybe lowsec in NPC regions. NPC null, I'm not sure 100% on that, because again, somebody can dominate an NPC region like without even being there or being nearby with their supers, which is a bit unfair. But like with lowsec, there's so many people in lowsec that would want the moons that you could take it, but it constantly, right? And unless you were sat on it with your supers, it constantly being ref.
The thing is, though, like having to mine out your R64s takes so much time. Like, if you spend an evening mining R64s because you have to for your alliance, that's an evening that you could have used shooting in it or shooting French Connection, you know, shooting anybody or doing something else except for moon mining. So it's just forced crabbing, basically, which is bad.
That's well said. I never really thought about that actually, yeah. But what I will say is, as a counterpoint to that, I really do like the idea of income bottom up, members getting income and not. Now, my alliance is poor as fuck. Like, we can barely afford our soft bills, which is a joke. And I understand that alliances should make some risk, but there needs to be a better balance. It can't go back purely to the old system. It needs to be like maybe 25% in the moon is passively like pooled or something. I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna say something super controversial, I think. I always wondered why you have to pay for the soft. Why doesn't it pay you? You know what I mean? Like, if you hold a lot of soft, you should be paid for it to a degree. And then maybe the more soft you hold, the less. I mean, it's a, you know, what is it called on the new faxes? Diminishing returns. So like, you're not gonna get as much cash per system if you hold like, I don't know, 1,000 systems. But so smaller alliances have a little bit of an edge there. If they only hold like 10, 15 systems, it's way better. And then people would say, oh, that might be exploitable. It's not that easy, because if it gets refed, that alliance has to defend it. There's only that one alliance that can defend it.
Oh yeah,
so,
I see what you. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be good.
It would also be another point of like, the more space you have, the more money you get, and therefore it's appealing to have more space. And that sounds shit on the face of it, but what it actually means is that Sov has now become a resource in itself that
Yeah.
alliances have to fight over.
Wow, Panda, you might have just like hit a massive nail on the head. That's really a good way out. I think that's a really good thing, because it gives people. I know Sov's not glorious, right, when it comes to fighting, but I promise you one thing: it is at the smaller scale. Like, we love our soft fights. It's when you've got 1,000 dudes trying to contest a single IHOP that it's a terrible system.
You know, I always said the idea behind it, I like it. I like the idea of like having those nodes and you need to... I just think it's too many nodes too. Because if you don't finish your nodes, let's say like it's a smaller group fighting another smaller group, you cannot finish your nodes because it's too, you know, it's too busy and you're actually fighting. Then there's more nodes spawning. And then suddenly you have like 10 plus nodes. I'm not sure what the limit is actually. But there's a shit ton of nodes. For smaller group, it's very hard to have 10 guys and toast stuff. So you throw like worthless shit on it. And it's just for FCs too. If you wanna get a fight and you wanna have like the deciding fight to win the timer, you can't even think about making a play or whatever because it's so overwhelming with the amount of nodes, and it's ever changing too. Like every couple minutes there's a node now and the other one is gone, and then there was a fleet but they're moving fast because they just have to hunt those and tosers. So you can't really get in between, camp them in or whatever. It happens on a really big scale, but in medium scale I think it can be so exhausting for FCs. That's why we don't see this, because no FC really wants to do soft stuff, you know. I mean, on a certain scale it's not that bad because you have a lot of people available, but I feel like medium scale, like one alliance on its own, it's just so painful. And then you need those specialized little groups that actually can help out with that stuff, which is super helpful, right? But you didn't see the dream scenario of people splitting up into like, I don't know how many different fleets and then fights all over the place. That's simply not happening. So I thought always like less nodes that are a little bit more stable, right? So that don't have them despawn all the time and change location, but have them in one spot for a while at least.
What we don't see from CCP is what we used to see from like, well, what we normally see from other game developers is that when they do something and it's like not working or it's too powerful or whatever, they quickly fix it, which doesn't really happen these days. They're very slow to do stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I would say, like, you say slow, I say they're very patient. I think they recognize a mistake fairly quickly, but then they're very patient with it, because I think one of the main reasons is they don't play their own game. They don't see how draining it can be if something is really broken and you have to deal with it for like a long period of time. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna actually switch to the next one, because people saying I should switch back to the normal overview or overlay. Let's go through the thingies actually. So Kendar's prediction was what? That it's gonna be
semi-passive moon income.
Oh, yeah.
24 hours. It was going to be 24 hours. As a timer is the actual change. What I'd love to see was passive moon mining, sorry.
My bad.
Alright, so the next one is this hint. An Antiplex, with a lot of people jumping through it right now.
I think that is the 500k thing. It's come to pass. It is.
When did they announce the 500k? Was it also Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Was
Okay.
500k?
Was it?
Hmm.
Oh, no, maybe
Yeah,
it wasn't.
yeah, it was Vegas. No, it was Vegas. Yeah, because they said they wouldn't move the at Vegas. They said they wouldn't move the existing structure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
You know what? You might be right, but I think there might be more to this actually.
There's going to be new animations. Then they say there's going to be new jump gate animation.
You know what?
As long as they're not touching fatigue, it's all okay.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Are they going to add fatigue? Because
I think people complained enough about it's not a jump gate, it's not a jump bridge mix-up, because we get the worst of both worlds. For those who don't know, if you tackle something on the jump gate on a Antiplex, they can still jump. Just as if it was a gate, but at the same time the guy's tackling cannot follow, even if he's not aggressive and stuff like this. So I think they're gonna make some changes in that regard to the mechanics of you know, jumping through, being able to actually tackle stuff on it and have it not jump through, like capitals are not able to jump through with like a hit point and stuff like this. I'm not sure if that's actually the case, to be quite honest. Have you ever tackled a cap on an Ansiplex with a hick point?
I'm going to guess that it can't jump, but you're entirely right. It would be worth checking because it can't jump through a gate, right? If you hit cap on a
Yeah.
gate.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I think something along those lines. I hope. That's my hopeful version of it. But you might be right. That might already be the 500k M changes right there. Does anyone else have anything? Alright, so the next... Sorry, what?
And I think they're probably throwing the do we add fatigue, do we not add fatigue ball up and down like quite a lot. And for now they're leaving it without fatigue. I just hope that it stays that way.
You know what? I think you shouldn't be able to jump with the red timer, but it shouldn't add fatigue. I think that's a good middle ground, kinda.
Possibly, yeah.
But yeah.
So, can you jump with red timer on a jump gate?
Oh yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I learned.
Caps too.
All right.
Or a few caps.
That's the next one. That's number... I think it's number 6. Just some drifter stuff. So I guess that's PvE stuff and not really of our interest, is it?
Well, it's probably going to be the drifters returning and reffing everything and Reddit going re. Right?
I kind of enjoyed it when everyone lost their minds.
I thought it was
like Avian versus Drifter.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But I thought it was great that the drifters were doing that. I know it's a pain in the ass for big empires, but like PvE, I've always found PvE in this game very lackluster because it doesn't interact with players like at the way players interact with each other. And I'm not saying it should like all the time, but I think it would be pretty cool if like there could be some sort of interesting mechanics going off that, or this has been refed and it's NPCs we need to defend. I tell you what, it probably would be is kind of, well, probably not actually, but it might be a good way as well, like for training FC. You go in, core primaries, you have to switch targets if something's tanking, etc., etc.
That's what I always thought the whole incursion thing in HySig and stuff was good at.
Yeah, true.
PvE is quite boring, do you not think? Like these days where it's quite repetitive and like it's really easy. Like I thought the new when there's the thing where you hit the gate with the fragment things, whatever the fuck that's called again, that was quite cool.
Abyssal
that was
space?
quite risky. Yeah, Abyssal.
Yeah, there is actually one of them is Abyssal space stuff. So, all right. So, no predictions here. I guess I have no idea. I wouldn't even know what's going on with the drifter stuff and so on.
Probably something to do like what you already said with the invasion part 3. Didn't they say that there's going to be a part 3 in January or something? Or I don't know.
Oh yeah, that might be it then. We'll see. All right, next one. Very simple. Just a corpse in space. Is it in front of a sun or something? I'm not sure. Might just be like a cool looking effect. Just make it look dramatic. Yeah, someone... Yeah, exactly. That's what he said. So when he went through those slides, at this point he said like, maybe permadeath? That's obviously trolling to throw you off. There's probably something else.
The best thing CCP could do would be reintroduce the old clone mechanics. Could you imagine? Like that's just an instant. Oh shit! I need skill injectors.
Yeah.
to reclaim because I fucked up.
The amount of times I had to train FC5 because I forgot to upgrade my clone, and that's what he decided to take off was not enjoyable.
Then a Battleship vibe for me. That was fun.
When you think about it, though, like they always talk about ISK sinks and stuff. That was actually not an insignificant way to spend your ISK, having to like if you had 80 million skill points, you had to what was it like 40, 50 mil at a time or something every time you died?
But did it put people off PvPing because if I go on this fleet and I lose, that's a 60.
I think they couldn't reintroduce it at this point because people are like it's with the local with Blackheart, right? People are just so used to having it easy now that if they done something like that, it would be terrible. Like people would hate it. I don't think I'd mind it too much. It could be interesting, or some form of it, I guess.
Sorry guys, I was AFK for 1 sec for an emergency. So what's the prediction here?
If your clone has slaves in it, it just self-destructs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Slaves don't exist
Solid.
anymore.
a solid prediction.
True.
I think it's that they're just gonna kill off Vili and the Metani from the game completely, just ban them, just so the game gets a bit more healthy, and it's a good change.
Aye. Alright, I have no idea what it could be. It has to do with clones, so...
Oh, it could be something to do with the new implants either. Or didn't they bring out new implants?
They would show
Triglavian.
something else then.
Or maybe it's like a depiction of shield slaves that they're dead and it's never going to happen.
If the shield saves will work, they literally have to rework the whole like shield regeneration and like shield HP things on so many stuff. Because imagine rattlesnakes with shield saves, you'd get like 800k EHP.
Yeah.
Massive regen Leviathan. Awesome.
Yeah, it might be the mimesis implants.
Oh,
Some of those might already be there, but I think it has to do with something.
Oh, Ashen says corpse reprocessing. That would actually be fucking amazing. I would love that.
Pulling
to see that
implants out of a corpse. Yeah, they
And
spoke
then
about
implant
that.
prices would drop though.
I also think you shouldn't be able to like rip out your implants as you're dying. Like you should only be able to do implants in a station in a clone bay or some crap.
Yeah,
correct.
You shouldn't be able to just rip stuff out because it's so dumb.
That is correct. Also put them in while like you have them in cargo and you only use them if you need them and stuff like this. Like I do that all the time with command ships and just have it in my cargo.
Yeah.
So I don't have like 3 fucking info clones all over the place and then 3 armor clones and 3 skirmish. So I only use it if I really need it. Yeah, it might be one of those. I mean, that would be a good change. I like that. Yeah, hope you're right. Alright, let's go to the next one. I know you guys are running out of time. Shine's gonna like this one. It's a fucking Drake, but in front of some space thing.
We need to bring back Drake fleets.
Rice said he was going to, right? He said that he stood on stage and said bring back Drake fleets. He said as well that he wanted to get the game away from like hacks and make us use battleships more.
I think they just need to fix missiles in general, like anything from Drakes to, like it's such a like. Everyone asks, "Oh, what Titan should I get?" And the instant answer is not the Leviathan. Anything except the Leviathan because it's so shit.
Phoenix is a shit as well in Dread Bombs because if you bump more than 50k in a top Phoenix, you're just.
Well, the Moros is the same, right? As well in that respect.
Yeah, but it's not massively as bad because your tank is in the like low slots, so you can have mid slots for application. Whereas shield, Phoenix is normally just.
If they could reduce the flight time on missiles, but like heavily increase the velocity, so it was more towards guns. I have no idea if they don't do that because of some physics reality thing that they're trying to keep, or but if they could make missiles hit quicker, it would balance things out between guns.
I think I agree actually. I mean, especially on the Ravens, you could see the disadvantage on a missile-based board. When we were flying Bush Ravens, that we were literally hitting a target and then we would have to wait like, what, 20 seconds, 25 seconds or something till the fucking volley hits. It's just, I mean, you could also claim they have way more damage for the range they hit at and all that stuff. But I think, I mean, that kind of highlights the whole problem a little bit. So
you can offset the damage with SIG and stuff, so there is certain offsets to missiles, but it's just like one of the big reasons you don't use missiles against subcaps is because of the amount of time it takes to hit. Like it's just not as efficient as alphaing with like Munins or whatever.
Yeah, you need
Drake
to.
Navy is so good.
You need to hit the target long enough before your next cycle. That's basically what it means. So if you want to alpha shit, you don't want to be like cycling your second volley already.
I just had a fight with Drake Navy issues yesterday. We were in
that's
Ferox
mid-scale,
and they
small
were
scale,
in Drake
isn't it?
Navy. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a difference. I mean, that's the thing. Some ships are just meant to be like for mid-scale, small scale, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And some ships are supposed to be shit. And I think that's totally fine too. You need some bad ships in a game that everyone thinks like, oh, those are bad. Let's go and engage them. And then maybe someone figured something out and makes, yeah, exactly, like a sacrilege fleet. If you see sacrileges, you're like, might as well just take some boys out and engage those guys. But maybe there's a trick to this, and you know, they might just catch you and then do whatever. So I like to have a couple ships in a game that are also shit. Like you need that too.
The Ferox nerf wasn't very good. That reminded me as well.
The Ferox nerf? Which one?
Yeah,
Feroxes
the
are
one.
still crazy OP.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't nerf Feroxes properly. That upset me.
What about the Munin nerf though?
Well, they're actually
Just
nerfing
sitting in
again.
immune
Some
and
people
looking
wasn't
at it.
sure.
The sig, the speed, and the optimal range, I think.
Good. Okay, they should have done rate of fire as well. That was a bit.
They still hit 100 plus though. They still hit 100 plus. They're still the fastest hack. They didn't lose any HP. They they hit 88 plus 30. I think.
Sorry, yeah. I was looking at an armor Munin just to see what kind of stats you could get out of it. Yeah, Tremors 89 to 120. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's I don't think it went far enough. They should have picked one of them and hit one of them a little bit harder. Way less range or way slower. One of the two, whatever.
I don't think it's solely about the Munin. I think it's about hacks in general, which is a bit unfair to Zealots and Ishtars because they're not fantastic. But Eagles and Munins in general are just so overpowered. Like it's more of a thing with hacks. They should fit hacks into a more specialized role. Bring back battleship fleets.
So I would argue hacks, especially armor hacks, it has to do with the painting too. Because with info bonuses, the way they work, you can get so hard paints that you cannot signature tank. It's just impossible. Like you're not mitigating any damage because you're painted to no end. And that has also to do with info bonuses, not countering the paint effect. Like, why doesn't it? I don't get it. And now people can't claim I want to, like, I'm pushing for this for the Stukas. Like, I'm not flying Stukas, obviously. I mean, not at the moment. So, you know, I don't understand why the info bonus that is to, what is it called? Information sensor strengthening or something?
Optimization.
No, that's optimization. That's you get more lock range and stuff like this.
Right, hold on. I'm looking. I can't remember.
You tell me.
No one can remember this one.
It's a script, right?
Because it's usually useless. Like, no.
It's one of the strongest ones. What are you on about?
The
like countering TDs and sense dampers and stuff like that.
That's a
massive, yeah.
You know how target disruptor, tracking disruptors are one of the strongest E1 modules in the game. I think they are the strongest.
Yeah, they're very underestimated as well. You know, because people can't physically see them doing something in game. Like they just have this stat effect, right? You just don't really see them doing much. Like people think they're shit and they're not.
It's also because people don't have the support skills for them correctly.
You know, that's funny actually.
Electronic superiority charge is the one you're talking about, I think.
No, it's not. That's for the boost.
Hardening charge.
Exactly, that's the one. So electronic hardening is supposed to counter Evo. It does for tracking disruptors and target.
And we call ourselves FCs.
Targets dampeners. What?
These are minute details. All you need to do is anchor and call targets, right? You don't need specifics.
You don't need info boosts with super fleet, do you, Darkshines?
Of course you do. Yeah, you need everything with your super fleet. But
you remember when you used to have
these
to put
dudes
out
called VHS who look after all this stuff for us, so we get lazy and don't have to look at it anymore.
No, it's such a pain. And you have to do like wing links, squad links, you know, Titan boosts and all that crap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And then you could only have like 3, right? And then only one squad would have all the things, or you would have to have like one info booster for every squad. Which is quite hard. But yeah, so my point was painting is not affected by it. So why doesn't it, you know, counter the paint effect? It does make sense to me. And I think that's one of the reasons why AHEX cannot exist at this meta at the moment.
They probably don't want to double buff though, because the skirmish one already reduces your signature radius. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of really, is that they don't want to double buff the sig radius.
Shield tanks and armor tanks do get a double buff then.
I missed the sig radius buff. That's good. Or the old links where it was more.
Do they though? Like you've only got one set. You've got one set of things that do like improve your armor or shield, right? Or you don't have more than that.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, if it's not, it might not be that at all. It's just the only thing I could think of.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was my take on the whole Evo thing. Not sure what's
The next one's
thing.
a good one. Come on, Pando. The next one's a good one. Come on.
Oh, you know which one it is?
I think I know which one's next.
Which one do you think it is?
It's the Sino with caps around it.
Yeah. So it's a picture for those who are just listening. It's a picture of like I think the revelation is in the foreground, and then there's a lot of caps, or not a lot of caps actually.
A lot of sinos.
Yeah, a lot of sinos though. So it looks like those sinos are lit by the caps.
Do you want me to tell you what it is, or do you want me to like speculate?
Enlighten me, Lord Kendarr.
You'd like me to give you a perfect telling what it is?
Perfect.
Right?
I want like a perfect 10 out of 10 on point answer to this. All right, there you go.
I think they spoke about this at EVE London actually, because one of the guys was talking to me about it, but I was slightly drunk, so I wasn't paying attention. But basically, they said that one of the things they want to change is the way caps sino in at the moment, how they spawn within 5,000 meters around the sino. They might bounce. What they're going to do is look at spreading out caps when they come in. Like you might have it as an option.
Yeah,
I
heard
don't
that.
know how. Could be a charge, maybe you load into a sino, for example, that says like spread, and then you spread all your caps out on grid over a certain radius.
So maybe the sinusoidal generator then generates the sino effects for each cap. Is that what's happening? So you're in a rapier, you light your sino generator, and there's like a little bit of an effect, and everyone sees, oh, there's a sino generator active, and then as soon as I click jump onto your sino, it spawns the sino effect.
Yeah, but then
Is
what
that
type of
what's
radius are you talking? Because look how far away some of those signers look in the foreground.
Yeah,
Could this not just be some sort of one of those like mini nerf, like mini patch things they do, where they just literally just like, all right,
No,
one cap can be jumped on one side. I thought they could just that'd be funny.
I think what they said is they thought about doing it mass based, which then means the more mass you have, the further away from the sino generator you spawn.
I think that's a terrible idea. That's
It
like
also seems really complicated. Like, how would they make this work in an efficient way? Because sometimes you want caps to be balled up, sometimes you don't, right? If like, say you're dread bombing and the Titan is the Titan fleet's 30 away from you. If you dread bomb and then you have like a, let's say, a 30-kilometer radius, and some dreads are going to be like 60 away, or even if it's bigger, like I think that looks bigger than 30 kilometers. That's not very efficient.
So if I would have to take a guess, in a dread bomb scenario, they probably look at the dread jump in range would be like a 10 km radius, and then super titans would be like 15, 20. That's what I would guess. I could be totally wrong though.
Also, how do you like, you can do that, but then like say you jump a fleet of 100 dreads, there's still going to be bumps then surely. Like if you do a radius thing, because like if you do 10-kilometer radius and you have 100 caps, the caps are still quite big. They're not going to fit in that efficiently.
Well, I mean, it's way better than it is now then, bumping wise. That's what they're trying to address. I mean, even if you spread them out way further, there's still chances that two titans just come out at the same spot, and then boom, you get bumped, even with a 30 km radius.
The thing is, you don't always get bumped. I'd actually love to see what the trigger is for a bump, like on. Like,
I bet.
Because like I mean, we warp in titans to things all the time, and you've got 10 titans who'll just sit there, and they're able to slow boat away from each other, and it's no problem, even though they're literally inside of each other. And then there's other times you warp on grid, and like you could be a kilometer away from each other, and then suddenly fucking boom, and one titan just flies across the grid.
But then it's like a shuttle that's sitting on Titan for like an hour, and suddenly it comes in.
I remember I was wrapping a pass in the Minakawa, and there was nothing on the pass. I was off the pass shield, and there was like some drones there because there'd just been a fight, and I bumped like going like 3 kilometers a second in triage off one sentry. That was nice.
God damn.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right. So what? Everyone's the prediction is that it's gonna be the jump in like range kind of thing. Yeah.
It's hardly an anchorable Sino module, something like the Sino Jammer, is it? Because there's a lot of them and they look pretty small.
Oh, that could be a thought, yeah, because obviously
So-
we've got recon Sinos now limited down, haven't we? So yeah, it could be like an anchorable Sino.
Well, so that's what I try to explain with the whole, like, the effect is coming later. That's why we see so many Sinos. Right? So
It's
the
interesting.
generator has an effect, and then every ship that jumps in, as soon as you click jump, you get an effect. Like, you can see it right there. And then they jump onto those.
I don't know. It could be, I guess, but to me, that'd be a big change for CCP, right? It's not something.
Well, and
Also, bumping used to be like an effective. It would
tool.
also be like because it'd be like there'd be risks in like you dropping a massive Titan fleet as well. Like you used to see the old Black Legion videos where goons would jump in Titans and then they jump their slows in, right? And then like one time would bump away from the slows and the Titans and just dread bomb it and then die because it didn't have reps and all these old things. So there were plays from bumping as well, and also it split up dreads. Like for example, it was just like a draw. Like if Kendarr dread bombed Dark Shines and his dreads, like half his dreads bumped out of range, then Dark Shines won. It's all these different factors that they used to bring into the game. It made it more interesting.
It wouldn't
wait a
matter
second.
because
So
Kendarr couldn't bump out of range of my Doomsdays, so it's all good.
Burix is pointing something on. They're tethered? I don't think they're tethered, actually. They don't
There
look
is a
tethered.
tether effect going
towards
in behind the revelation you see coming up.
But all the other caps don't have tether effects, and there
That's
might be something
the
hidden behind the ref.
that's
Yeah,
the trigger happy fleet tethered up there.
You
So,
might be right.
One of the guys has just linked in the chat, like the specific video that they were talking about at Vegas, where Rise was demoing what this slide was about, and it is that basically they're coming in at further. Like he jumps a cap fleet to a Sino, and all the faxes appear in the middle, and all the Titans appear around the outside, like the old wrecking ball type
that is
thing.
the worst thing they could do.
Well, he was experimenting. He was saying he was experimenting with it. Like he was saying he was experimenting with it.
Like, if you jumped all your Titans into the middle and your faxes around the outside, you would bump less than if you jump your faxes into the middle.
Yeah, and on the video, I've just had a quick watch there. On the video, you do see like avatars bumping off each other and stuff, and he says that basically they're still having bump.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I mean, if they would just jump it in as a wrecking ball, kind of perfect, and every cap fleet ever will now have no bumps, that's a big buff for coalitions. Big buff for big.
It's not gonna fix anything when the big coalitions still don't field anything. If they don't jump in, ain't gonna.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But do you guys remember in X47 when we jumped into Titans onto the Keepstar and like straight away, I think it was 2 or 3 Arabuses just flew straight towards the Keepstar from bumps.
Yeah.
Like
What
it's not
happened
fun
to
for that either because like those dudes are instantly dead. Like you literally cannot do anything to save them.
Yeah,
Like I guess there's arguments 2 and 4, but like could you imagine? And I know you hate bringing up the ISK thing, Panda, but if you imagine you're after spending, let's say an average person spends a year getting into a Titan. It's your first major cap battle. You jump in and you fucking face palm straight into the NC Titan fleet. And you just die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even based off numbers too as well. Like for example, when we only had 30 Titans, like 2 of them just bumped like straight into them as well, and they were just dead because we obviously can't save them, right? It's not based off numbers. It's just luck of the draw.
But that goes back to alliance income too. Then they hope, then an alliance that can then say, okay, already replaced.
It's not about replacing it though. Like it's about
I know. But at least it's gonna be like, okay, I'm dying here, and I just got unlucky, and it's gonna be a shit. Right? Yeah, It's gonna be a shit story told by my court mates for like a year straight, like how we jumped in and I just died first.
Look at also that fight that you had with INIT recently, High, where I guess you jumped in your dreads and they didn't bump, and then we jumped in our dreads and they all bumped.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is literally just luck of the draw. I mean, the people who died in X47 were lucky anyways because they didn't have to sit there told. They're the real winners.
Yeah.
Did you have any bumps when we had that dread fight? chance.
I've no idea. I was too busy calling targets, and then suddenly it's like 30 seconds to cluster shutdown. I was like, what?
Best
There's
red fight
always
ever.
there's always bumps like when you like drop dreads regardless. Like when we dread bomb, we always have like 10 or 15 just bump. You can't control it.
Alright. So the prediction for the one before was the spread out kind of thing. So then that's the last legit one, I would say. And it's simply like abyssal space, it looks like. I'm not sure, you know, what to make of it. Something with abyssal space. Anyone got any wild guess? Any insider info, drunken info from Kendarr?
No, sorry. I mean, what I want it to be is instanced PvP. I think there
I'm
is.
not sure if I want that.
I don't want instant.
No,
PvP.
there is a big thing in the game. Like, just imagine you got 15 minutes to play.
Isn't
and
that
all you
isn't
wanna
that
do
abyssal PvP though? You have the 3v3
But the
and
problem with
Yep.
that is it locks behind PvE, so there's a huge like, oh, I've got to go through this dumb fucking PvE thing to get to the PvE. What I'm saying is, you pop a flare, it spawns you in an arena, you and another frig or whatever class it is, and off you go at it. Because if
So
you've only got like 15 to 20 minutes, it's pretty good.
yeah, you know what? I'm not sure. Like I don't wanna. I'm not a fan of the idea at first.
Well, I'd rather.
I do see the possibility of it being done right and it not hurting the game. And then you might be completely right and it's gonna be great. But like I'd be very, very careful with that. Like very careful that you can really fuck it up there. And you know, knowing CCP, they might just find a way to really get it wrong. You know, so I hope it's not, because that's a risk. I think that it's such a risk to even say instance PvP. It's not worth taking at this point.
I wouldn't agree, because if you're a new player, how do you like really learn, right?
Add a new player. So wait a second. For new players, that's exactly what I suggested. Like a while back, I suggested an extended new player experience as a new player, but it shouldn't be that shouldn't be someone's end gameplay. That's not what I feel like Eve should be. As a new player, to give people an idea, okay, this is what a fight looks like. I like it there, and then connect them even together and make it 2v2.
You'll have to have a fleet of 50 people. You form up a fleet. You pop a shard. It takes your entire fleet into an arena. Then you pop a shard panda with your fleet, and we go out and fight head on.
No, I don't.
The big thing about Eve,
no,
the
please.
big thing about Eve has always been that when you die, it costs you something. And like, yeah, you can run around in a T1 frigate and lose basically nothing. But like, if you're bringing in instanced PvP, and please don't mention fucking instant fleet PvP, it just takes away from. Well, I mean, it takes away from the feeling of loss in the game, which I think is a big part of Eve. However, it's very hard to, like you said, it's very hard to have 20 minutes log in and then just float around space for 20 minutes because there's no one to shoot.
And the other thing is, like, I think, like, if you ruin faction warfare space, I always think of faction warfare space like as close to instance PvP as I can. And if you're kind of a newer player or you're on your own, you often get blobbed, don't you? Like, it's sometimes you get 1v1 fights, sometimes you don't. But these would guarantee that you would get a quick 1v1 fight, basically. But it is kind of immersion breaking with the sandbox. I do agree on that.
That makes me kind of like think about when I started the game. I like lived in faction warfare space in like a certain area, and like that area now is completely dead, and it was Galente faction warfare space, and like I'd rather they just fix faction warfare and make it more alive again like it used to be. Like I used to get loads of 1v1 fights or like 1v2 or 1v3 where it was in blob fights. I'd get blob sometimes, but I'd have so many fights even in that small area just because it was more busy because faction warfare was better. I'd rather that than instance PvP.
Faction warfare is actually
still a thing though.
What was that, Shines?
RVB?
Are RVB still a thing?
Yeah, but they're more like they'll just do 10-man kitchen sink fleets and just roam around.
Oh, okay.
And also, faction warfare is actually where I first did like real PvP, like where I started out. When faction warfare was first introduced, I started PvP. So I can totally like agree. But back then it was chaos. If you formed a fleet, FC if he even had any requests, he would just say, okay, you need to hit up to this range, oops, and be armor tanked or something.
Yeah, I remember
But that's
those
it.
days.
So it's like complete chaos, and you could
Those
just
fleets
bring
are
whatever.
great.
I know, but you can't do it anymore. There's too many organized groups that would just farm you all day, and that's what happened over time.
Yeah,
So-
we built that. I remember there was a presentation. Like we as players built the whole doctrine thing, didn't we? Like, and apparently V invented combat probing as well. So no one had ever thought to use combat probes to warp on a hostile fleet, and V came up with it. It was the first to do it. That's like, and I can't even imagine FCing without combat probes these days.
Do you fuck, I had a really good point and I lost it. What were we talking about a few seconds ago? Oh, sorry, yeah. Do you remember the Frogger fleets we used to do? They were like a mixed match. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, it was kind of a doctrine, but it wasn't like everybody fly Abaddons. You know, it was a mixed match of a bunch of different battleships, and that worked. Like,
Well,
that
that's
worked
what-
against configs.
But yeah, but that's also like what's Blizz's thing, Kendarr's. You know, that's a mix of ships too, to give people a little bit more of an option, so they enjoy it a little bit more. It's like more like a fun approach to it, you know, so people can bring like Drakabeks or like some AHEC or whatever, like an Ashimu. Right? So yeah, but it's totally fun based at the moment. Like if you bring something like this, you're not serious about the fight.
Mm.
But yeah, maybe I don't know.
Mindset back then when we did those type of fleets, that was a lot different as well. Like people just didn't give a shit and would fight for the sake of fighting. Like the objective could have been lost for hours or won or whatever, depending on what side you was on, and people would still be fighting in system just because they
Well,
like fighting.
There's but EVA's also changed. Like back then, when you fought, it was on a single grid. Like you didn't have to worry about running your fleet ragged trying to pick up Intosis bullshit. Like you sat on the iHub grid and you brawled, and if the iHub died, well, you were already in the brawl, so you might as well keep going.
Yeah.
Also, you have to remember player mentality, massive. Well, as
Yeah.
Kendarr said, like people just, it was the natural progression of the game to just kind of go towards what Serenity was, with just a big blue donut.
I mean, I'm just as, when I say this, I'm just as bad as every other kind of FC out there. But like, people are so risk averse these days, and there's never been more ISK in this game. But people are so risk averse, it's unreal.
It's also like
It's not about the ISK though.
Well, like Nausicaa, for example, in the chat just said really high. You want to know what happened to Losec? Did he just say that LMA? Or like, I'm talking more about faction warfare, like Plex and stuff. That's not where Snuff, killed Losec, my friend. And you say that, but there's always going to be a space to fill, and that already has been filled by whatever blobs. Like in Mimatalos, like there's new blobs and everything. Like just the way the game is, you can't just put it down to one big entity. It's just based on the game balances at the end of the day and player mentality.
But about what Kendarr just said, it is not about the ISK though for most people. I think most people are afraid of like looking like idiots losing Titans and shit. And I don't think at this point it's about the
we communicate
Reddit,
more.
Also,
we communicate
thanks for the
more.
massive host, Jabby. Thanks a lot.
Reddit is very toxic, especially for FCs, is what I witnessed in like the last it's very like, imagine you're like a UFC and you're on like Horde or something like that, or like let's say Test, and like you whelp a fleet, fair enough, you whelp the fleet, you learn something, but then like you just go on Reddit and just get trash talked.
Yeah.
By your own guys and even like other people. It's just really toxic. It's not even like the leadership as well of certain alliances will just be like, all right, you can't do that anymore. It's like not a nurturing environment. Like you need space to learn. Like I needed space to learn, so did Tao. Like we whelp so much in the initial days.
I don't think there's a single FC around who didn't whelp at some stage or who doesn't whelp at some stage.
I think you need to whelp every now and then. I mean,
you do 100%. God, I used to feed like crazy. Like, and I still do from time to time, and it's like you're always learning. You only ever become, I think, a trashy FC if you think you know it all and you refuse to learn. If you constantly always think I can improve, I can do better, and you send that task, then I think you're actually like a semi-good FC, and you're going to go places. But if you think, I know it all, there's no way, I need to have a debrief after the fleet and talk about what we did wrong, or someone needs to talk to me and tell me what I did wrong, etc. Then you're never going to learn.
So I would say that's actually the #1 quality for an FC, to be self-critical, right? So as soon as he finished the fleet, he's not gonna point the finger and goes back and analyzes and says like, oh,
Yeah.
I actually fucked up here and I should have done this. And you know,
Do you not think
not
though it's
be
kind
too
of
hard, but
it's kind of dangerous to have that mentality at the very start, because a lot of people like being self-critical and revising what you've done and stuff is fine, but if you don't understand the intricacies of certain things, then it can be very dangerous to beat yourself up too much because maybe you're looking in the wrong places and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
So I would always think, for me personally, it would be the other way around, because if you can point out what you did wrong, then you know you can do it better next time. So if you now say, oh shit, like I did everything perfect and I'm the greatest ever, but the result is still shit, then it must be way harder, right? I mean, then are you gonna go motivated into the next day and say like, all right, we're gonna form the same thing again, we try it again, but this time we expect a different result? That's fucking insane.
It's
Sorry, so what I mean is not like absolutely you have to be able to recognize that, but like there's a lot, like EVE is a complex game and FCing in itself can be like 100 times more complex, because I mean just proven by the fact that a lot of people, like the majority of people in EVE, don't FC. So there might be these little things that an FC won't notice, and do you not think they'll beat themselves up over the wrong things? Maybe, oh shit, I warped to 0, but warping to 0 might not have been the wrong decision. It was just that he didn't burn away or he didn't get on them quick enough. Like they might not recognize certain things like that. So
That's funny you say that, because when I was starting to FC, I remember I took this Caracal fleet once to Gemini. This is going back when XIX owned it, and they formed, and I got trashed by them. And I said to the experienced FC that was with me afterwards, I said, "What did I do wrong?" And he said, "You just sat still and you didn't kite." And I didn't. But then after that, I was always like making sure that I was kiting in the Caracals and staying away from the mirrors and so on. So I used to record every fleet as well and watch it back afterwards.
You know, someone actually approached me before EVE London, and he asked me, hey, what about like I give you some footage and stuff and we go over that stuff. So I might actually do another series here, like not FC chat, but something like
FC analytics.
yeah, analytics. I don't want to call it coaching because I don't think I'm actually that great of an FC in like most doctrines. Like I'm very specialized. Right? It's just how it is. Specialized in something that's not existing anymore. But
I think that's a good FC quality as well.
I don't think you
to be
to be
specialized.
specialized.
No, to be humble.
Oh, all right.
Because
Well,
you are a good FC Pando, you just don't know it. But basically, like you draw on years of experience, and that's another thing people have to realize. Like you don't become a good FC overnight. You become a good FC, I would suppose, by being constantly active and having a wide range of experience to draw from. Oh, I did this before and fed, so I won't make that mistake again. And it just goes on and on and on and on from that, basically.
FCing these days is just, as you said, just more ego based, because like people literally just care about having their super keys and dropping their supers, but like dropping supers is not hard at all and it's not engaging in any way. Like it's not challenging.
Take that back.
well, you know what? So we could talk about like I agree. Once you're on field, the technical FCing of Supers and Titans is very easy. The hard part is the judging of that situation. So you have to have a way better understanding of who is where and what could possibly happen. La la la. So you have to be very aware of what's going on. So I think it goes. Other FC skills go into that.
Have that with subcaps to an extent. It's the same thing, just on a bigger level with supers, right?
But
subcaps are still.
The thing is that if you fuck up and you lose a subcap fleet, then people will have lost a day or two of ratting. If you fuck up and you lose a Titan fleet, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. For some people, it might be years of effort.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that people don't just give like super keys willy nilly. I'm saying that it's not. It's not like FCing supers is a harder thing. It's people just do it more for the ego. That's what they want. FCing subcaps honestly is more reward.
I don't think it's for the ego. Like I prefer FCing caps, and yeah, I get a kick out of that part of it, but it's also like a lot of people who FC supers and stuff will have been playing the game for years. I mean, I've played since 2004, like a lot of way, like all the way through that. I've done subcap FCing, I've done all the roaming stuff. You know, I've done it for years and years and years. And now what's fun is the cap stuff because it's more towards the end game than anything else. And like I wouldn't agree that it's all for the ego. I guess for some people it would be like if you only log in to field your Titan, then yeah, sure. But I think
Well,
it's fun for a lot of people as well, right? Because they
So-
get to use their toy.
Endgame, I always thought I think there's a little bit of a difference in our understanding. So you always think it's cap stuff in general, and I always think killing the caps is always the end game. If you kill them with like 10 shuttles, I'm fine with that. That's end game. If you kill a Titan with 10 shuttles, that's end game shit. If
Like,
you kill
dropping-
10 shuttles with a Titan, though, that doesn't feel like end
Dropping,
game at
like,
all.
10 capitals on like and like a battleship is that's not amazing for me. Like a full escalation where you go sub caps to Titans. That's like
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if somebody wants to be a super FC and just drop Titans on some,
that's what I'm saying. Though. I'm literally just saying
yeah.
people in like the Northic FCs like they just they don't really actively do anything anymore. They're just like, all right, there's like a 10-man fleet tackled one of our carriers. Everyone logging Titans. Let's go. Just drop on them. We're done.
That nice little escalation we had, Shines? That was the perfect example of a subcap to Dreadbro.
I mean, like what you were like the F7C fight at the start, like when you mentioned at the start, that was like one of the most perfect escalation chains I've ever seen or been part of, because it went from subs to more subs to a few to carriers to a few more carriers to a few dreads to some more dreads to Titans to a lot of Titans, and then one side had to exit because they couldn't contest the Titans. But it was like a proper FC into capital and both fleets complemented each other. Like those are the kind of fights that you really want in EVE, right?
They rarely happen these days. The last one we had was 01Y, and that's probably one of the last of many. Well, the last of.
Oh yeah, that's right, Kendarr. You tried to headshot me on that fucking fight. That's why I dropped the dreads, actually.
No, fuck off. The dreads were already in. We were.
No.
Kendarr, are you headshotting people?
We were. Yeah, I guess so. But we were logging back in. We were logged back
That's
in.
right.
You logged all your dreads in, and then I was like, just try and headshot Shines, make him go away.
Wow.
Because I wanted you to go away. I had enough on with the Raven fleet I was fighting, dude.
What concerns me more is how Captain Ashton knew that.
Cap's, I don't know if you know this, but Cap's alliance is flying with us. You know that, right?
Yeah, I mentioned.
Yeah,
I heard it mentioned, right? I mean, like that. I think that in EVE is another problem of headshotting.
Yeah,
There's
but
a
people
shift
there's
that stops
monitors now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you already.
I mean, no one can moan about headshotting if you're not in a monitor. Fly a fucking monitor, and don't come at me saying they're a trash ship. It's the best ship in the game. It can't be jammed. It allows you to lock any ship on grid from any distance.
To be
I
fair,
don't have 200
Shines,
million SP, so I can fly a fucking monitor. Right?
You know,
Shines, if he's headshotting you, then dropping supers is completely capitals completely. It's fine.
I love being invincible basically in it, but I kind of still hate flying it. It flies so shit. Travel speed sucks, and the fact that you can't use any drugs in your cargo. Or
well, the thing with your Stuka fleets as well, when you used to do them, was like everyone knew if Pando shows up.
Kendarr, you're missing a big fight. Holy shit! Oh, there was a big fight in RQH.
Oh, that was ages ago. One of our allies had a little brawl with FXR and lost.
Escalated to Titans.
What about the Stukas? Like, I'm gonna be in a harpy. That's what you're trying to say? Or...
Yeah. So like the thing with you was like if everyone knew that would be fighting you if Pando shows up in Stukas and he's not in a monitor, like just headshot Pando in that fleet.
The worst part of do you remember when you started doing Stukas and me and Bliss would be quite active on them, and every time we landed on grid, fucking Bliss would get headshot and then I'd get headshot and then they'd start killing bombers.
You mean Snatch?
Oh, was it Snatch? Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, back in the day, and we were always spinning it, and nobody knew I was actually FCing the Snatch fleets all the time. And then,
who did we say it was?
Soulmaster, because he had the most kills in a Magus. Actually, had more than me because he was ECM bursting and shit. So yeah, we were always saying like Soulmaster best FC and stuff like this. Yeah, I remember. And then when other, like I remember like at least 2 FCs reaching out to me to like, hey, I've seen the Snatch Fleet stuff you guys are doing, like, would you mind to explain? And I would always go like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even FCing. Like, or when you talk about Snatch stuff, it's all Soul Master. And then, yeah. He would get headshot at some point, but only like, I think he got headshot like twice. And then they realized, that guy's actually not the FC, because, you know, obviously, Snatch, the anchor is way easier to spot too. So
I think everyone had shots at one point. I know, like, if we're defending something and NC dot
we
shows
do.
up, just cunts, we just try and headshot them because
Headshot is a strategic thing, as Kendarr said. If you're fighting
Yeah.
a lot of people, you want to force a fleet off. That is the best way to force a fleet off. You
And
headshot.
that was exactly the situation. I was justified. I've done it as well to try, and they weren't happy about that. But at the same time, they warped to like 40 on my nightmares, and I was just like, okay, this is weird. I'm just going to shoot their FC so they go away. And they did. We shot Ghost, we shot the other FC, and they left.
actually Dunk Dinkle says, please don't headshot Logi anchors. I hate primarying Logis. I really don't like it because no matter what alliance you're in, if you're flying a Logi, you're that one selfless person who kind of tries to keep everyone else alive, or you're a spy, one or the other. But it always feels, I don't know, it always feels shit to shoot Logis.
You know what? I don't care.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, I don't care about it too much. Most of the time, I feel like if we kill more damage than they do, like, quickly, then, like, you know, in a lot of cases, I always feel like that's how you get the fight under your control more. But you know who loves killing
Searching the
Logi?
field.
It's Bliss.
Bliss.
Like, Bliss loves it. That's his first thing. He's like, there's like 500 dudes and there's 2 Logis. Let's kill those Logis just to make sure, right? It's like,
That's the meta
that's
now,
cool.
right?
There was a fight against Darkness where we were like towers FCing and I was relaying, and he literally just kept saying kill the Bassies for like an hour.
Yeah, he loves it. I remember that one Loki fight not too long ago. We were fighting. Actually, we were fighting together, Hi.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. And like, I was target calling. Shines, you were you anchoring? You were doing something else, and Bliss was, I don't know, doing something else. But I was clearly target calling, and he didn't like my target calling because I went for damage, even though there was Logis in range. And he just lost his mind and just took over, which, like, he usually doesn't do, obviously. He trusts me with stuff, but I was just shaking my head sitting here. And then he's like, oh yeah, Panther, sorry, you want to take over again? I'm like, it's all good, dude. But yeah, he hates Logis, I don't know.
But it's interesting.
I mean,
because it's
hostile
all like
Logis.
different FC styles as well, right?
Yeah.
It's also gauging the field though. Like, for example, when you used to fight Shadow Cartel and then have like 40 Guardians for like 50 max, of course you have to.
I need to run for a few minutes.
Guys, you told me you guys don't have that much time, and we are approaching the 2-hour mark. So I always feel like a dick making you guys stay here for so long, but I enjoyed it very much. So I think we should just, you know, cut it right here then. We didn't talk about the last one, but that's obviously a troll, right? Because someone pointed it out. There you go. That's the last one that was on those slides. Obviously a troll in my eyes, but hey, whatever. Like, obviously they didn't put too much effort into hiding what it is. That Titan muter plus min. Or do you think, like, what's the possibility? Like, just give me a percentage chance, a percentage chance of, you know, how high is the chance that we get a Titan muter plus min?
Oh, I wish, because the bridge range.
You know, you could say, depending on what they do, there's a lot of break Titans, so you get some Titans out of the game. Maybe you do, like, our armor hit points minus 50% or plus 5%, and people will still do it. You know it. Right, so
They should add RNG to more things in the game. Like, you know, you might not be able to tether up, or if you dock, you ban.
you might not be able to tether up. Oh, that's a little bit crazy, I think. But yeah.
I think they're going to adjust the tethering thing anyway with the low power solution. I think stuff's low power, it's not going to have.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Indeed.
Alright then, let's cut it right here then. Thanks for you know, joining me here. Thanks for showing up. I had a good time, as always, talking to you guys. I had a great time in London too, and I wish we had more time. I thought at the end that the music was just so fucking loud.
That was horrible.
Yeah, everyone was shouting at each other, but then again, everyone was like, nah, might as well not talk at all. We should have just gone to another place, I felt like. Just like at a little bit more quiet bar, and then sit there, but yeah.
Also, the pictures. Do you remember the pictures that they had on the screen? Like random
pictures?
game. Yeah. Like they had like animations that were supposed to be like Eve things, and then there were like things that really didn't look like Eve.
Well, that was probably the slides from that DJ dude, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But hey. So, thanks again for showing up, and also thanks for everyone for watching and subbing and doing all awesome shit here. And then Jebby, thanks for the host in the middle. And I'm gonna check who I can host. And yeah. See you guys on the next one. Oh yeah, by the way, as you can see, the schedule is gonna probably take more of a form again. So be ready for some awesome shit. And you were talking about checking disruptors, so there's something coming for that one. So guys, see you guys on those streams then. And bye.